Cheers.
Yeah, that shit.
Great podcast.
Word. Edit privacy. Public. Done.
Okay, so we got that on Facebook there.
Yeah, I was just checking to make sure it's live. We good. You ready to do this?
Ready.
Let's see if this intro works. Let's try that again. All right, welcome to Uncle Legend's Corner. I'll be your host, Uncle Legend, and with me always is my beautiful co-host, Call Girl 6. I'm better known as Fox.
Hey y'all, it's Sunday Fun Day.
Oh, yeah, Sunday Fun Day.
Let me just start off by saying I'm so glad that the time has changed back.
I think daylight savings is pointless as fuck.
They're gonna stop it. Remember I told you
yeah, they've been talking about getting rid of that shit.
They was talking, yeah. So I'm happy though because I was like, oh my God, we're gonna be late for the podcast. Boo, it was just 7:40. I was like, yeah.
You like that shit the first day. Tomorrow you'll be on a regular schedule and be like,
late. Maybe I might be late. I don't know, but I'm happy about it. So y'all popping in. What's up? Welcome.
What's happening?
How y'all Sunday going? Right.
See everybody just waking up and shit.
I know. I feel like that. I feel very sluggish today. Very like kind of chill. I had some other things going on, but I didn't. So how I feel. We went out last night. Shout out to Moses West, that poetry ninja, on Facebook and Instagram. We went to Cometry and it was really dope. Shout out to my girl Reva K doing her thing.
Yeah.
And Jessica Cherry and the whole Smoking Word crew.
Yeah, she's a good entertainer.
Yeah, she is.
We got to hit that thing. That's on Mondays that she do hers, right?
Yep, Smoking Word. So for those of you who use marijuana for therapeutic purposes, need a marijuana card, hit us up, askunclelegend@gmail.com, and I will be the one facilitating that.
The fuck?
You don't have nothing to do with that. That's
nothing. Don't
I
hit
will
up.
Get you to
don't
the right
hit up.
people.
Ask Uncle Legend that shit. Hit Fox a mail on goddamn whatever her social media handles is.
Hit me up. Hit us up where?
Don't hit us up nowhere. Don't hit us up nowhere. Got goddamn security. I don't have nothing to do with it.
You don't smoke. You don't do none of that stuff. But I can get them to the right people. That's all I'm saying.
Don't ask me
I
shit.
can get you to the right people.
Don't ask me shit. I ain't got nothing for you. Out here, boy.
That's right. And so if y'all in the Jacksonville area, y'all want to hit up Smoking Word, hit me up and I'll give you the info.
Chris, what's up? You said crappy? Like, is our feed bad or something? What's going on? Just crappy?
How's his Sunday?
You said how you doing? Oh, Sunday.
Crappy.
Yeah, I know. We had what I told you about earlier.
Oh yeah. Sorry about that, guys. Sad.
We lost a brother, so you know what I mean. But that ain't nothing to really talk about here. So getting to the shenanigans, throw up the tickler. So I wanted to talk about something where I really think that a lot of times we don't have a whole conversation about, and that's rights versus responsibility. I feel like don't worry, just throw that phone anywhere. Fuck that phone. Go for it, Fox. Do your damn thing. But I feel like people always want to talk about their rights. And even in the community, and even in the communities that I care about, like, you know what I mean, 2A community. even in the 2A community, you gotta think people always talk about rights. I got the right to have this, and I should have these guns and that guns and this and that. But we don't really talk about responsibility. And none of the shit that we talk about, we're like, we got the freedom of speech, we got the right to vote, we got all of this other stuff. And we talk about all this, but we don't talk about none of the responsibility that come with it. And I think that's why life is, I think that's what's causing the entitlement complex that so many people have.
What do you mean by entitlement complex?
So I feel like people just think about rights and it's like, I should have this, I should have this. And it's almost the way a child thinks, because a child think like, oh, well, I got a license, so I should be able to drive your car. And I'm older now, so I should be able to do this and I should be able to do that. But they don't want to talk about the responsibility that comes with not doing what the fuck you're supposed to do.
They just want
right. So people want to buy howitzers and all types of crazy ass guns, but then they don't want to go to a gun class.
Right.
And
to
learn
actually learn how to shoot.
You know what I mean? People want the right to vote. People want the right to vote, but then don't accept the responsibility to go and learn, like, hey, who are you voting for?
Right.
Why are you voting for them? Are you voting for this person because they had dope ass commercials? Are you voting for this person because
their views align with yours?
Their views align with yours.
Someone you love, or
something like that, right? So when we talk about that, I think that's a lot of the reason that things were missing, because I feel like in our reality, I feel like the meaning of life is somewhere in responsibility.
Why do you say it's in somewhere?
It's in responsibility because I like, and I've been I kind of been in the Jordan Peterson bag. And, I've been trying to get back into writing. I've been reading more and stuff like that, and trying to just get my mind back to expand. Now that I kind of been looking at the world, not so much looking at the world differently, but just kind of shifting my priorities of what I'm worried about, what I'm not worried about, and everything like that. And I feel as though like if you think about any story in the Torah, in the Bible, the Quran, you talk about any of these stories. All of these stories that we talk about these people who live these like crazy lives and did all this crazy stuff, it's like they were people who took a heavy load of responsibility and did awesome shit.
Seemed like a lot of sacrifice goes along with that. Honestly.
Yeah, well, I mean, but that's what comes with responsibility. I mean, look at every responsibility you got in your life. How much sacrifice did you do for it?
A lot.
I mean, if you look at every responsibility for your job, for your kids, for your marriage, for, what I mean, all of the shit that you want, what I mean, everything.
All those three.
Wow. I don't think I'm much of a fucking drag.
All those three. I say drag, it's a sacrifice.
Sacrifice your whole life. That's what you gotta sacrifice to me.
All right, I had to put my hoes away. That's crazy.
You goddamn right, because you don't want that blood on your conscience. Like, because I was gonna put your hoes away. I was gonna put your hoes away. Pack it the fuck up, yeah. But no, so yeah, we talk a lot about rights and shit like that. Like even all of these rights, like for instance, even when we talk about like the right to have an abortion and everything, are we gonna talk about the responsibility of like you shouldn't be punching out babies like it's a fucking Subway card? You know what I'm saying? Like you're getting Subway free sandwiches. Like I think women should have the right. I understand women having the right to have abortion, but I don't think that should be the primary form of contraceptive either.
No, it shouldn't be. There are some people, and that's not everyone who's using it as a primary.
No. What I'm saying is, but I'm just talking about the responsibility. Just like everybody who owns a gun isn't a responsible gun owner, irresponsible gun owner, or a responsible. I'm just saying, like, we got to set some barriers and shit like that for people to do it. And for everybody who thinks like, oh, well, people shouldn't say this and people shouldn't do that. The problem is that we got to understand that America is a republic. Like we get caught up with things about like, oh, it's a democracy. It's a democracy. This is the shitty part about a democracy, right? Everybody like, oh, it's a democracy. It's not a democracy. It's a republic. And it's going to be that way for as long as we can keep it. And what a lot of people don't understand about a republic is, or the difference between a democracy and a democratic republic is, in a democracy, everybody see you outside and they're like, damn, that's a nice car, Fox. Well, majority rules, we could just take your fucking car and there's nothing you can do about it. It's the Wild Wild West in a democracy. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever people decide to do, how the people decide to conduct themselves and everything. That's what happens in a democracy. But what happens in a republic is, in a republic, we like you have like for instance, we'll put it as your car. In a democracy, if I want your fucking car and me and 10 dudes want your car, we're going to take your fucking car, and that's democracy. In a republic, your car is your property and it's protected by law. So I think a lot of people, especially all the people who can't fucking fight, probably should really hope that we keep a republic.
Keep a republic.
Yeah, because it's like the law is protecting you. Like the things that are protecting you from bad people or somewhat is the law. It's not like people walking around with these conscience to be like, oh, well, you said something on social media, you got freedom of speech, you can say whatever. The thing that's protecting you from getting thumped when you sit here making these comments about groups of people and this and that, whether you're making comments about trans people, regular ass men, women, this and that, the thing that's keeping you from getting thumped is the fact that it's a republic. Because if it was a democracy and just flat out democracy, well,
do what you want.
You motherfuckers, a lot of y'all can't fight to be wanting a democracy.
If you look into the Pledge of Allegiance, it says into the republic.
Yeah, but a lot of people just look at it and like, oh, it's a democracy. We like, I don't think people know the difference between a democracy and a republic. But then that just shows, and that's another thing about responsibility. We have legitimate people who don't know the three branches of government who have the right to vote. Like, people come to this country and learn more shit than people we have with we got people with whole ass bachelor's, master's, PhDs that wouldn't pass the citizenship test for America.
People who actually live here. Yeah, I understand that. I remember when my dad was going through that.
Yeah, he was probably more knowledgeable than most fucking people because he had to learn that shit. Yeah. We blow past it because it's like, well, we here, so we know, right?
I took American history 8th grade, and that was the wrap. You know, you don't have to do it no more. You don't need.
So I feel like that's some of the things that come. Nobody wants to talk about the responsibility. It's like that. No, don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to do. I got rights. It's like, but with rights come responsibility. Like, I want to be able to own whatever gun that I have, and for reasonable gun laws, when people talk about common sense gun laws, like if people say something about common sense gun law and they're like, hey, well, you should have to take a class. Okay, but you got to draw me the end before you put a block on my rights, right? So what I'm saying is like, I need to know what the end game is to know what the block is on my right. So when you say like, oh, you can have short barrel rifles, but you have to do this because of that. Okay, cool. I don't want to hear no shit where it's like, oh, you got to take a class with the government where they do these like shall issue states, like how up north they used to have a lot of shall issue states for concealed carry. No, fuck all that. If I meet the requirements, I'm in. This ain't no good old boys club, this and that. If I meet the fucking requirements for what you say, I'm in. Get it. Right? So if I want to have a howitzer, if I want to have whatever, if I meet the requirements, reasonable requirements, it's in. Now granted, I'll be 100% honest. It's like, do I need a howitzer? No. I feel like I want to have access to, like, and me, you know what I mean? I'm big on guns. So I feel as though whatever the police got, I should be able to have. Within reason, right? Like, I know I can't just be rolling around with lights on my car, fucking swerving through to the hot light at Krispy Kreme doing the damn thing or something like that. But I'm just saying about
the type of weapons that they carry.
Yeah, the type of weapons that they carry. I should be able to carry. Don't come talking to me about an AR-15 when local police could score 90 on a test that, like, literally they score most local police, like especially even around here, score half of what we have to score on the military just to stay and watch. Like, they take pretty much damn near the same gun test, and I gotta go score 180 just to stay and watch. You know, I'm smoking 240 because I'm a badass. You know what I mean? 230 with my left hand. But you know what I mean? But I'm gonna smoke the test or whatever. But it's like you out here with a whole lot bigger chance of shooting somebody.
Responsibility.
Yeah, a lot more responsibility.
Lives in your hands, literally. And yeah. So I think it should that it definitely needs to change.
Yeah. So
that's crazy.
So with the rights versus responsibility, I don't think that we have enough of that conversation about the responsibility that comes with all these rights. And when you just talk about rights and don't talk about responsibility, it breeds entitlement. It's just like with children. When a kid's like, well, I should be able to go out with my friends. Well, I should be able to go out with my friend. Jamarcus, don't do me like that, baby. You know I'm a killer. Hey, boy, you know, big boy ergonomics out here. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing it. But when kids talk about that, kids like, oh, I should be able to do this. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair because all y'all think about is what y'all have a right to, not the responsibility that maintains that right. You know what I'm saying? So we don't think about like, you know what I mean? Kids be like, well, I should be able to go out with my friends. You ain't clean your fucking room.
You ain't clean your room.
You ain't do your chores.
Do dishes.
You ain't do this and that.
Your grades look like shit.
Your grades look like ass. So that's the responsibility that comes with that right? Like, so, and the problem with
it was a right or really a privilege.
Nope. So that's what I'm about to get into. So the difference between a privilege and a right? Like driving's a privilege, right? Like driving's a privilege, even though if you pass, but we treat driving like a right.
Yeah, we do.
Because if you pass all the requirements, there's no reason why they won't give you your driver's license. But with a gun law or something like that, that's a right. And we still find some way to make it seem like it's a privilege.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is like, when you have a right, you have an inherent responsibility that comes with it. And we don't like to talk about people having responsibility because everybody wants to live so free. And the problem is that people don't know what to do with too much freedom. Like, just imagine. So just imagine if you, like, if everywhere you went, they gave you 100% freedom. Would you like that?
No, some things I kind of like let me fall in line with, but other things I like to be a little rebellious sometimes. So
Okay,
I wanna do what I want to do.
What I mean by unrestricted freedom, this is what unrestricted 100% freedom will look like. You go to a place to order food, freedom and they say what you want.
Mm-hmm. You know, I get overwhelmed. So
yeah, you get overwhelmed when you know what the fuck they got. Like when they have a menu, you over there like. Now imagine. Why you doing me like that? I don't do that. You looked at a menu last night when we went to the commentary thing with Moses. We go to the, you like you're about to start hyping. I was about to get you a brown bag out here.
He's doing too much. That's not true. That's not true. I was just having a hard time deciding.
You have a hard time everywhere we go. Now imagine if you went to that same place and they're like, what you want to eat? And you're like, what you got? Whatever you want.
Lamb.
Well, I want lamb. Where do you want your lamb exported from?
The best place possible.
No. Where you want your lamb
closest, from? I want it the closest so I can get here the quickest.
Yeah, like because we got lamb from New Zealand, we got lamb from Georgia, we got lamb from, you know what I mean? Like, so they hit you with all of this shit, and now you like, by the time you get through all that, you wasn't prepared for those answers. You don't know all the stuff you want. You want things to be cultivated for you. That's why even in music nowadays, when we're overflowed with so many musicians and artists, that's why we want curators. We want a playlist. We want to find a playlist and say it's fire, or either we find a song and be like, put that in the playlist.
Yeah, you see how you know, especially me. So if someone knows, you know, that I can sing, right? And so they're like, well, sing a song. I'm like, fuck, I don't know what song you want me to sing? I don't know nothing. It's like a blank, and there's so many different songs to choose from. Yeah. There's so many it's different. Like, I don't know what song to sing for you.
Yeah, I don't even know what type of music you like. Like maybe you want me to sing gospel, maybe you want me to sing this, maybe you want me to sing that. It's entirely too much. It's entirely too much, right? So that's what people run into with freedom.
That's
it's
right,
like,
Bama.
Yeah, hit me with that high quality lamb. What's your idea of high quality lamb? My idea of high quality lamb.
The closest high quality lamb possible.
No, what's your rating of high quality lamb? Like, you get what I'm saying about, like, when you don't get these options where people curate things, freedom gets very expansive. Like if they tell you like high quality lamb, they're like, well, I don't know. It's your opinion, your truth of what you think high quality lamb is. So you're like, how old do you want the lamb to be? Do you want male or female? Do you like, you know what I'm saying? Now you over there like, fuck, man, just give me whatever's still on the griddle out this motherfucker. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's what
that's baby lamb tender.
You want a baby lamb from where? How old is the baby lamb? Do you want baby lamb like fresh out the fucking mom's vagina? Do you
under a year?
How many days?
Yeah, a year and 2 days.
A year and 2 days. Okay, you got a lamb a year and 2 days. Male or female?
Female.
Okay, lamb from where?
Much juice.
From where?
Yeah, what he said?
From where? What I love, lamb, you can go take. Freedom is taken, not given. No, I'm talking about, but when you ordering some shit, this and that, that's the thing about complete freedom. People aren't intelligent enough in most categories to say, what do you want? Like, imagine when you go to buy a car, you kind of want to be selected to a few options. Like, I like the way this look. I know a couple of things. What if they start
narrow it down for me?
What happened if you go to pick up a car? Like when we went to go buy your car, there's like, hey, what color do you want it to be? But you had to pick your color, you know, like when you pick your color, like on a color graph where it's like numbers and shit to meet that color or something like that. Like, okay, I want that. How big the tires do you want? Because we'll put tires on this motherfucker that don't fit. Like, you know what I mean? So you need people with expertise in certain things to start curating what you actually have with freedom. And that's the crazy thing that come with it. So when we talk about these rights, people always say like, oh, I want this, I want that, I want to be able to do whatever I want. You don't even know what you want to do because
you don't even know what you really want.
Because you can't even fathom what's possible. Like if they was just to tell me like,
well, I mean, it's infinite possibilities, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like that's what freedom would ultimately be. When people talk about something, I want unrestricted freedom. You want curated freedom, and a lot of times you really just don't want to be told no. Like if we really being honest about freedom, we really don't want to be told no.
I was just about to say that. I'm like, well, it's kind of like,
because if you said
what I want to do when I feel like doing
if they asked you want male or female, you like male. or female. How old do you want it to be? A year and 2 days? Well, we can give you a year and 1 day, a year and 3 days. You're like, man, fuck that. Year and 2 days. That's what the fuck I want. That might be the worst lamb ever. Maybe a year and 2 days is just the time when where a lamb just cures over this and that. Somebody try to tell you something. Fuck that. I want my freedoms. Fox wants her freedoms.
Freedom of lambs.
You see this? We ain't gonna talk about that right now. We ain't even gonna talk about that right now.
Inside.
Yeah, we just gonna. Yeah.
Anyway,
just leave that be.
Whatever.
But yeah. So that's what. So when we talk about all these like rights and stuff like that, I think we have to have the honest conversation about what's the responsibility come with it. Because when you look at all of these stories, when anybody that you ever looked up to, they took responsibility for something. Think about anybody you ever looked up to, and you're like your father. For, like people that took responsibility, and they were. You know,
that's the only person in my head.
Yeah, like people that you looked up to, is like they took responsibility and did something with it, right? Like that man went to work. You know what I mean? He did this and that. He took kids that wasn't his, raised them to the best of his ability. He did this, that, and the third. You looked at that, you respected it because this man took responsibility. And what the thing is like we respect and look up to people who take responsibility. It don't even matter if you're a hooligan. If you're a straight up thief, you look at a dude and be like, well, he had some.
But is it that we look up to them because they take responsibility, or we acknowledge the sacrifice? We acknowledge what was given up in order to do this thing. Because I think that's what it is for me most of the time.
How do you sacrifice what do you sacrifice for without responsibility? Well, what will make you sacrifice without responsibility?
No, I'm saying you just said if we respect them because of the responsibility they took, but it's not just because of the responsibility.
Because great responsibility requires sacrifice.
Yes, it does. We just said that in the beginning. That does require sacrifice. But for a child, I don't think, or anyone else looking at my dad, they wouldn't respect that, responsibility. They wouldn't respect that if they didn't know.
But they're not the ones looking up to your dad. You are.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So it's not just anybody. It's just whoever knows the sacrifice behind it. I think that is what's going on.
Yeah, but that's what it takes. It's like, no, you can't know everybody's. I think that's like almost like a given. Like nobody knows. You don't know when you see the person that like Win Dixie or some shit like, oh, that person probably giving up a lot of sacrifice, like, because he's probably Spider-Man. You don't know shit about them. You just like, this motherfucker taking too long and they don't know their number to put in here to get their code or whatever.
But if you know what that person's going through, what he got to do when he go home, if he has a home to go to XYZ, it's different. It hits differently.
Yeah, so I think it's when you get into that, it's like everybody that you look at, like when you look at people in the Bible, Jordan Peterson tell his dope story too. And if you haven't listened to Jordan Peterson, feel free to listen to him. He done got like a bad rap because you know how it is. People put out a 15-second sound bite and go right. But a lot of these like ones that people say, everyone that somebody told me like, oh, he's terrible, he's this and that. And he was like, look at this clip. Every time I look at the clip, I go look at the whole podcast and be like, okay, you took it out of context because it was a 20-minute conversation. You took 20 seconds of the conversation in which he didn't complete his thought or whatever. But he got a story. Even when he was just talking about Abraham, he was talking about Abraham. Abraham was like 80-something years old when he left his parents' house. And he compared him to today's version of an incel almost. But he was like, he was sitting at home, shit was sweet. And this ain't his words. Obviously, I'm gonna hood this shit up, but you know what I'm saying? But he's sitting at home doing his thing, chilling, playing video games in the basement. Obviously, they ain't had no damn video games back then, but he playing video games in the basement. And then God was old basement. So God pulled up and was like, hey, take your ass outside and go do something with yourself. He like, well, damn, that's crazy. So he go out there and then you know the story, Abraham, all these dudes trying to screw his old lady. They trying to get him the fuck up out of here. They trying to do all that. He's sitting there thinking like, damn, it would have been a whole lot better in the basement. But that was his call to adventure and all the responsibility that he wound up taking and pushing for and this and that. That's what made him somebody that people look to him like, oh, boom. That's the reason why even people in religious books, they don't even refer to their religion by name. They refer to it I follow the religion of Abraham. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because he got about there and did dope shit. Like had a whole great lineage story, everything. You know what I mean? And it comes to the fact that people take great responsibility. And I think especially with young men, what winds up happening, right, is like Jordan Peterson will explain that the men are more disagreeable than women. And I'm not talking about argumentative and all that other shit. I'm talking about disagreeable because Lord knows you're more argumentative than me. But
that is not true.
I'm more disagreeable. You're more argumentative.
Disagreeable for sure and argumentative.
I'm not argumentative because I don't argue with you.
Whatever.
Because if I argue with you, I just want to box you. It's like, but nah, he's talking about disagreeable. When he talk about disagreeable, he's not talking about argumentative, right? He'll say like, and it's a 60-40 thing, right? Like it's a good chance. Like if you lined up a whole bunch of men and women, this and that, if you said the dude was more disagreeable, on average, you'd be 60% right, 40% wrong, right? So sometimes the women could be this and that. Now, the thing about this is when they do that on the psychology test is, so if you got, so when you get into that, it's a 60-40, right? So they might get us and it's like 60% chance I'm more disagreeable. But when you go to the extremes of that, the most disagreeable people in the world are men. Like, so if you took like, what's the most 100 most disagreeable people in the world? They'll be men, right? So when he getting to talking about that, the people who don't find purpose and responsibility, especially with men, if we don't find purpose and responsibility, what happens is we'll just say, fuck that. We're not doing anything. So when you see these men
turn into grumpy old men.
Yeah, at a young age, right? So when you see these young men and they're just like, fuck that, I'm gonna sit in the basement and play video games, or I'm gonna do this, that, and the third. And fuck this. I'm not, because all of this shit doesn't make sense to them. And now, even when we talked about, like, from the first podcast, when I said the pussification in the man in America, the problem is that we done pussified men so much where men are afraid to be men. And it's like, whenever you show anything masculine, here goes some
criticism is there.
Yeah, here goes some prick telling you, oh, well, that's toxic masculinity, or that's this and that, and say some dumbass buzzwords or something like that. When it's like, men are supposed to be men, because a good man is a dangerous man that has an under voluntary control. Nobody likes a harmless man. And at the end of the day, really, if they told you I killed 2 million people, you'll be like, damn, that's a lot of people. That's not gonna make you leave me.
No, I'm like, you ain't gonna kill me though, right?
That's all you care about. You want a killer.
You could kill me in mine though.
Yeah, you want a killer. You want a killer. You want somebody disagreeable. You want somebody who's willing to tear everything up. The fact that I will level an entire city behind you, you like that because I don't beat your ass.
Yeah, as long as you don't beat mine.
That's all you care about. But you would like it. So would you be okay? Would you be okay if I didn't? If I wasn't I wouldn't thump nobody. Like I just 100% nonviolent.
If I gotta fight, like, nah, bro.
I'm talking about like a dude start popping off. I'm like, no, he hit me, and I'm like, turn the other cheek. He hit you. I'm like, just turn the other cheek, baby.
I'm gonna turn the other cheek and walk where he going. That's where I'm gonna go.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna go walk where he going. Come on, babe, let's go.
Yeah, because the fact of the matter is, you want a killer, like you want a monster. You want me to be a complete Kodiak bear out here mauling shit. Long as you or the people that you care about aren't mauled.
Right.
So that's the fact of the matter is, which is why I think that it's an interesting task that women have, because it's like you have to find a man that's disagreeable, and you have to find a man who's like dangerous, just not dangerous for you. So you basically looking for the Michael, or you looking for the Jason and Michael Myers.
The balance, right? And I think that's what I think everybody should have the balance, regardless, right? As we both, know that that's the key to life, balance and everything. I don't think that we're going to look for one more over the other. It's a preferred trait that I prefer to have. It's a preferred trait for me, but not necessarily for someone else. Someone else probably wouldn't like a man who do all this stuff and act crazy behind them. Somebody wants somebody who talks sense into someone who's more logical and all that. But
nobody wants the extreme. If we are all being honest about it, people can say what they want, but nobody wants the extreme. If you go find one of these women who call themselves an alpha female, who go out there and be like, oh man, this and that, what happened is they go and find soft ass men, and then they walk over them and they get tired of them because they want a man who is dangerous, but they just don't, but that man's not attracted to them. Because the fact of the matter is, if I wanted a woman to sit here and go toe to toe with me the whole time, every time I say something, I get a boyfriend. That's not what I want. Like I want to.
So that's different when you're talking about that, and then in a relationship, talking about being two alphas together and how you guys interact with each other. That's different. She shouldn't come and be toe to toe with you.
Well, it's a whole lot of women who think differently, and that's what I'm saying is that like you want a competent partner. And you want somebody who is dangerous. And I'm not talking about dangerous like shooting up a school. I'm talking about dangerous as in like competent. Like, you know what I mean? Well, who's educated, competent, you know what I mean? Able to defend himself. This and that. Like, there's not too many women that are just like, oh, I don't want that. You know what I mean? And if they say that they don't want that, the truth of the matter is they're about to fuck a whole lot of guys' life up who aren't like that, because that's what they want. You want a competent partner. You want a man who is dangerous, intelligent, competent to be able to do his job, provide for his family, do this type of stuff. Long as he ain't beating your ass. You cool.
I don't know. For women, I wouldn't say dangerous. I would say they want someone
What do you
who's
consider
able,
dangerous?
right? So that's all I was just gonna say. So they want someone who is able to protect them if necessary. Doesn't necessarily mean he has to be dangerous, but if he can protect the family, then some women would want that.
That requires you to be dangerous.
No, they don't require you to be dangerous.
How do you protect? If somebody walks up to you and they're about to sock you in your shit, how do I protect you without having without being somewhat dangerous?
I don't know.
Because dangerous means that there is a danger to me. Dangerous means that like I have the capability of fucking somebody
Your
up.
danger is end of life.
No, that's not just danger. I'm talking
about your maker right now.
No, no, I'm willing to go to that level and past that. I'm willing to go and ruin somebody's entire lineage. I will go dig up your granddaddy. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm that person. But what I'm saying is that me punching somebody in the face, that would make me dangerous, right?
That would make you crazy.
No, I'm talking about
angry.
No, you can't. You're making assumptions. If somebody was to knock you over on the ground, some dude walked up and be like, "Hey, how you doing?" And he was like, "Oh, I'm married." And he was like, and tipped your clumsy ass over, and you just fucking Humpty Dumpty'd your ass right over. Whoop, boop.
Bang!
Okay. So then if I beat his ass, that requires me to be dangerous.
Okay.
Dangerous is having the capability for a gun is dangerous if misused.
If misused.
Fire is dangerous if misused. Hell, electricity is dangerous. But look at us. We got lights on, camera, everything else. People looking at this, watching this podcast through the computers and everything else with electricity going through there. The same electricity the same electrons that shoot out the sky and split trees and kill people and do everything else. We got all of that. One must, you have to be able to do it, right? Even Gandhi would say that you have to be capable of violence.
But the thing is that everyone is, though. Everyone is capable of violence. We all are dichotomies. So we have the good, we have the evil, we have the positive, we have the negative.
Being capable of violence and being competent in using said violence, two different things.
I agree.
Because it's a whole lot of people who, all them dudes who be up to like, yo, bro, I'm telling you, man, I just see red and then just the body start falling. No, you can't fight, bro. Mm-hmm. You cannot fight. You have no trained discipline. You have zero skill. This and that. You're just hoping that you're going to land some punch and it's going to be on World Star. So that's the difference between it. Like being dangerous and we all have the capability of violence. It's a difference when you have a skill set with it to be able to do something when you know how to harm someone. So you have to have the ability to be dangerous, especially, and I ain't gonna speak for women, but as a man, you have to have the ability to harm people and be willing to harm people to protect the things that you care about. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I'm not saying that is not for women. I'm just talking for men.
I was gonna say because that's mama bears now. I'm gonna tell you.
I'm not saying that. I'm just on some shit where I ain't about to mansplain and have a whole bunch of women out here. Right. Don't tell us what to do. Don't tell us what to do. I ain't
saying that. I'm just saying.
And then here go Jamarcus.
That's mama bears now.
And here go Jamarcus.
The whole
right
world
here.
Gonna come down.
Yeah. Here go Jamarcus right there with it. One must be capable of violence. Capable plus competent equals dangerous. So that's all it is. I'm capable. I can inflict any type of violence. I can inflict violence on a person. But I'm competent as in that's what it is. Like inflict means, I'll swing luckily. And if I hit you with this haymaker, I might hit you. No, but being able to set up a jab, grab a person, get out of something, do some things, assert myself in a situation, that makes you dangerous. And even just violence isn't the only thing that makes you dangerous. Being witty, being sharp with the tongue, being able to think your way out of a situation. A lot of that shit is also dangerous. Yeah, a lot of that is also being dangerous. Yeah. So a lot of times with these young men who don't like, men are now getting taught the ideas sometimes where they don't have to be dangerous. You don't want to be fucking harmless because I'm gonna tell you this: anybody who's ever fought in any type of like combat situation, whether it's I don't care if it's jujitsu, because I got a background in jujitsu, wrestling, boxing, Thai kickboxing. Got my ass kicked a lot in judo, but I guess that's a background in it. But you know what I'm saying? But any of those things, the nicest people that you will ever meet is the elite people of combat. Like if you walk into a gym.
Because of the discipline that they have.
Well, it's also the idea that it's a whole bunch of killers in the room. You know what I'm saying? Like when it's a whole bunch of killers in the room, everybody watches where they walk. They watch how they talk. They watch how they act. Like if I know I can knock you out with one punch and you can knock me out with one punch, we gonna have a little respect for each other. You know what I'm saying? About the way we handle each other. I ain't gonna come in there and be like, hey man, invite you to my privates. You know what I'm saying? Suck my motherfucking dick. And you might knock me out. And vice versa. And if you ask anybody, like even Jamarcus, the jiu-jitsu guy too. If you ask Jamarcus, I bet you everybody at his gym that he does jiu-jitsu at, probably some of the nicest men and women that you'll ever meet, because they know they can go fuck people.
You know that this is one guy now. This one guy.
I bet you is less assholes. I bet you. Okay, before Jamarcus say anything, Jamarcus, I want you to listen to this. Listen to this. I bet you it's exponentially less assholes at your gym that you grapple at than it is at your job. Tell me if I'm right or wrong.
We'll see what he says.
We'll see what he say. Tell you if you're right or wrong. But I'm telling you, that's the difference between if you go around, like if in combat situations, you go to combat, you be around spec ops guys, the whole nine, nicest dudes you ever meet. The assholes be the dudes who ain't never shot, had to bust a gun and bust a grape in a fruit fight. Those the assholes, right? Like, but when you're around elite killers who are capable of violence and competent with that ability, they're so nice because you're not one. He said there was one, but we took care of that.
Oh, y'all took care of that. There was one.
Okay.
Like the man is like he's in the past tense. Is he RIP? Like
no, but
there was one.
But he tapped out. He tapped out really roughly. I bet.
Well, we took care of that. So y'all jumped this man.
Assholes galore at work. Because what disciplines people at work is rules and this and that. There's not the threat of violence. Like if you in a gym, hey bro, let's spar and I'm gonna beat your ass. At work, it's like,
well, you know the code, the SOP say if you touch me, this and that.
I'm going to HR.
I'm going to HR
immediately.
Well, guess what you don't do in the guess what you don't do in a boxing gym, a Muay Thai, Taekwondo, karate, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, Greco-Roman wrestling, or freestyle. Hey, you know what HR is? The dude who about to tell me to let your ass go when I got you in his arm bar. Yeah. So it causes people to do that. Now, what comes with that, right? What comes with that is that people understand I have a right to defend myself. The people who don't respect life and understand that you have a responsibility to respect life are the people who've never been in a situation to have the ability to harm people. The people who HR, these hands. Exactly. That's HR at the gym. These hands. Like, you know what I'm saying? Optimum and Wi-Fi. I'm connecting on everything out here. But the people who go through life and never get that ability or whatever, those are the people that you think of. These are the punks and pussies of the world who become dangerous. These are the dudes who wind up being backstabbers and everything else and fuck over everybody they can to get to the top in corporations and these Fortune 500 companies and everything else. These are the dudes because they never had that, right? So then they try and go learn it on the back end. Everybody teach me all this stuff so I can be tough on the back end because they never had to be tough before. It's like when you see dudes being gangster and they're down there 40.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Especially like when I see it in the military, you see a cat, he up here like, yeah, you know, I was this and that, da, da, da. You know why you so tough now when you 40? Because you wasn't tough when you was 19. Because you was pussy when in high school.
Yeah,
you was pussy in college. So now you done learned the rules of the game. And now you trying to inflict said rules around people who aren't privy to how this happens. You know what I'm saying? But then you run across somebody like we had a kid in the office at work one time. He coming in, he going off, da, 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 blah, 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 blah. Cool. You know, Chris, it was either Chris or John, one of them bring him come talk to me. And I'm like, hey man, come in, have a seat. I ain't sitting down, this and that. I'm like, well, it's a long fucking fall if you're standing. I looked at him like that. He like, what you mean? I'm like, I'm just saying. Your options are, you think I'm probably gonna try you. That's fine. You should think that. But if I hit you up here, you're probably gonna get a concussion. If I snuff your ass out in the seat, you probably feel better. You're already sitting down. You know what I mean? So I mean, we could do this however you want because everybody here gonna testify that you hit me first. Mm-hmm. And you're gonna lose a fight and a stripe because I'm a river dance on your ass until my calves cramp up. You know. So you know what I mean? So you can make it what you want. So it's kind of like that thing where when you could do something, it's like I'll walk away from a fight. When I was a kid, if you had to caught me, you know what I mean, knee high to a grasshopper, I'm not walking away from nothing. As soon as you say something wrong to me, I'm stealing off because I know I'm small too because I was an undersized kid. As soon as you say something, blah, 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 I'm throwing the first punch. At least I know I'm gonna get this. Yeah, I know I'm gonna get these first licks in. I'm peppering. I'm talking about I'm peppering that ass, and then I'm gonna get jumped and stomped out and all this and that. But you know what? I got my
Got
licks.
your
in.
licks in. Yeah.
Got my licks. in. Now, you know what I mean? The dudes start talking shit, and I'm just like, this ain't what you want, man. You see a dude square up and he doing some shit like this. And it's like
Y'all are dancing. What's up?
all that dancing, old capoeira ass.
I always thought that was just so crazy. You know, growing up, I would always see fights like that in school, and they doing all this, and you know, like and they rolling. What is that? I never seen nobody do no shit like that in the boxing
never seen
ring.
nobody win a fight doing that.
Never, ever.
But that's the problem is that's why you get a lot of dudes. If you go to 90-something% of dudes in the hood can't fight. And that's why people start getting exposed. Because back in the day, people used to just think like, oh, you know what I mean? When nobody really knew how to fight, when it wasn't people really training to fight, people be like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Even you go to like these neighborhoods and white people be like, oh, look at this aggressive black dude. He's athletic and strong. Maybe he can fight and this and that. The white boys ain't having that shit no more. They about to like, dude coming in, yeah, what you want to do? You're like, look at that stance. Got one, coach. You know what I mean? About to go ahead and bury his ass out here. Right. So, but with those things, it's like, I mean, you got the right to defend yourself, but you also have the responsibility to only push as hard as you need to push. Right. Like you don't push against adversity to break it. Like people, I'm gonna destroy people. No, that's why, like when you have a fight, even in the hood, right? Like if you was in a decent hood or something like that, you have a fight. It wasn't gonna like, you know what I mean? Like if me and your brother was fighting, you know what I mean? And they let us shoot the fair one because we know one in the hood and this and that. They're not about to let me stomp him out or let him stomp me out. You know what I mean? It's like stop. Or if one of us go down or something, let him get up. Let him get up. There's respect that goes into that. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a responsibility with it. I'm not gonna stomp you out like you somebody that pushed my grandmother on a bus or something. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna do that to your homeboy. Me and my homeboy square up. It's like, all right, let's do it. And then when it's done, it's done. It's like, you good? I'm good. Let's go get a beer. You know what I'm saying? You could do that, and that's
to whoop your ass.
Yeah, but that's
You'll give me back next time.
Yeah, that's the responsibility that comes with it. Is like the more deadly you become. Usually, not all the time. There's always a villain origin or somebody that becomes Master Shredder or some shit from Ninja Turtles. But there's going to be when the more deadly you become, the more respect that you have for human life. You know what I'm saying? Like just because you can hurt somebody, like if you talk to a lot of dudes who, you know what I mean, wrestle, box, and everything else, it's like you don't just beat the shit out of nobody to hurt them. You know what I'm saying? Like if me and you went to the gym, we go box. We go spar. I'm not going to just knock you out as fast as I can. I'm not going to knock you out. I'm going to protect myself, but I'm going to, give you a little this, give you a little of that.
What do you feel with that restraint? You know, we were in the book of the Emerald Tablets, right? Mm-hmm. And so do you remember when Thoth was basically talking to one of the 9 and he was saying, well, how you see life and how you move past life or to ascend is to all those temptations and all those things that you have, you learn to subdue those. You learn to block those out. And that's the key to life, basically.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to think about this, right? So when I look at that, think about every time you try to do something the right way and you be able to like, yo, look at the devil at work. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like as soon and we done had a situation just recently.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We had a situation just recently where we decided to go about something a certain way, and then the devil came knocking. But it required me to have discipline. Boom. I had discipline. I handled the situation. I brought it up to you, this and that. And you was like, boom, okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? You ain't even know. You was like, motherfucker. But you know what I mean? We had like we both agree that we handled it. I think we ain't talk about it after that, but I think we both agree we handled it the right way.
Oh yeah.
But what I'm saying is that's what's gonna happen. And it's instantly like it's not too many people. Like if you haven't had this happen, you haven't lived long enough, in my opinion, where anytime you try to get on the right road, like if you're a drinker and you try to stop drinking, the first thing they about to do, hey bro, people hitting you up, hey bro, you want to go drinking?
The temptation happens.
People that you ain't seen in well, hey man, you want to go drinking? Let's go get fucked up. Oh shit, this and that. And you know what I mean? When you say like, oh, well, I'm gonna stop being a hoe or something like that. As soon as you do this and that, like when you get into a relationship, you know how it is. It's like phone be dry as hell. As soon as you get in a relationship, look how your phone start blowing up when we got engaged. Oh we got married. Hey, I know I ain't talked to you in 5 years, but
yeah. You remember?
I know I ain't talked to you in 5 years, but you my everything.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? So the devil be at work. It's like you think about it, and it could be just something simple. Whatever your vice is, whatever your weaknesses are, they're gonna come at you. So it comes, and that's the problem also too with people thinking like, oh, I have all these rights and no responsibility. You have a responsibility to be in control of your vices.
To be in control, yeah.
Yeah, like so it's kind of like just because the opportunity come up and it's the opportunity you've been want, you can't do it. That's why people fuck up jobs, everything. Like when you think about it, it's up here like, man, I can't get a job, You get the first job, then it's like 19 people calling you, want a job. Now you're trying to work 3 jobs, you get fired from all of them, fuck your whole reputation up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you're dealing with people, you get into a relationship, it's like, oh, I want to be in a relationship. It's like, Jay said, the second you decide something, the universe says, hold my beer. Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like,
but no, you know what? I really don't think it's that. I really think it's the fact of, okay, you said it's like this, so now let's see about it.
Let's see about it.
Let's test it and see. That's exactly what it is. And it happens so quick. You know, it's making that
response. That response is almost instant. So that's why, especially even as men, when it comes down to that responsibility and bearing that load to go through life, I think as men, you have to sit there and be like, hey, when you say something, you got to be ready to carry that shit out to the end, right? Like it ain't no shit where you can be like, well, I'm gonna say it like it is right now, and then if I change my mind, I can change my mind. People always thinking about later on I can change my mind. That's the problem with like marriage and relationships and everything else is people be like, well, if I get married and if this shit don't work out, I'm out. I'm gonna see how it work out. I ain't got shit else better to do. People be looking at marriage like I ain't got shit else better to do.
I did that with my first marriage. That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. He asked me to marry him, and I was like,
fuck it. What else?
I thought, and I was like, all right.
It's
that's exactly what I said. I was like, all right.
Going up.
Let's see. You know, that's exactly what it was. You know, we were married. We were married 7 years. So yeah, 10 years, and it was hell.
And then, but think about this: when you took everything a little more serious when it came out of this marriage.
Yeah, because I didn't want my time wasted. I didn't want the bullshit. I didn't want all the negative things that I experienced in the first marriage that caused me to have certain negative traits. So I didn't want that to continue. I wanted it to be right.
Yeah. So I think one of them things that people have to accept and understand is that with all of these rights that you have, there's an inherent responsibility, right? Like I have the right to defend myself, but there is a known responsibility. For instance, if we in the gym and like I've never been to Jamarcus' gym, never sparred with Jamarcus, whatever. But he's still doing jiu-jitsu. I used to do jiu-jitsu. If I got you in an arm bar, like if I got you in a position, I got you in a triangle, I got you in a rear naked choke, I'm not trying to put you to sleep as fast as I can. Competition a little different. But if we sparring in the gym, I'm not trying to put you to sleep as far as I can. It's like, come on, man, just tap. Come on, man, just tap. We even teach us like, come on, man, just tap. Like when you locked into a hole, it's like ain't nobody gonna gain nothing out of this. I'm wound up breaking some shit or putting you to sleep. That's unnecessary. You know what I mean? I don't want this to happen. I have control of the situation because it's a lot. Because it's kind of like with power comes what a person does, right? Like when they get power, that shows you how shitty somebody is. They get money, they in a position, they up. It's kind of like how people act if you play in the game, like in volleyball. Like when you was playing volleyball, people don't talk a whole lot of shit from the get go, but let them get up 6 points.
Oh, you everything now.
Yeah, you bitches ain't shit. You know what I mean? And they over there. Now all these sportsmanship going out the window. Yeah. All this and that. They're not gonna maintain us. That's why we teach
stuff the ref can't hear.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? When you up against the line or something like that, you going for a block and like, bitch, you ain't shit. What? Yeah. You're like, yeah, like, I bet you that's probably how it go, right? Like y'all be talking shit at the line.
Hell yeah.
See? But that's a competitive spirit. But people want to talk shit like, yeah, we up. Fuck that. Because all we doing is projecting our insecurities when that happened, where it's like, I done lost so much. I can finally win something. And I want to make you feel the way I felt my whole life as I've been losing.
Or it's just fun.
See? Asshole.
Or it's just fun.
Like me, I like to talk, like when I talk shit, I like to talk shit to equal competitors. Like in middle school, like high school and junior high. This is my boy Mook, right? Asher Ball. My boy Mook. Me and him, like we went at it, 8th grade championship. He posted a picture on Facebook and was up to like, yo, 8th grade championship. We lost, but I was kicking ass. And in that picture, I'm behind him and I'm number 24. And I'm up like, you know who number 24 is in that jersey behind you, right? He like, yeah, I know, bro. Because I was busting their ass too. And we going at it, this and that. But you know what I mean? It's the difference between talking shit out of a mutual respect with a competitor, like me and Mook competed. And there's a difference between talking that and then it's just like, you's a fucking bum. I dislike you and I want to take your spirit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a whole different thing. And then some shit talking where it's like strategy, like how Kevin Garnett would say when he talked to people. But for the most part, a lot of times it's like, I mean, like, you're going to respect a good competitor. You're going to handle yourself a certain way. But even with the right kind of responsibility, I have a right, like, as a coach, I have a right to, like, so say for instance, when I was coaching New England, Pop Warner, and we won the championship out there. My son played for me, my oldest boy, Bam Bam. And we played and we was beating the school and it was trash. And I'm up there like, yo, y'all want to call this? Like, we got them by like fucking 28 or something like that. I'm like, y'all want to call this?
Like, they ain't coming
You know
back.
what I mean? I'm talking to the head coach.
No time
I'm talking to the
soon.
head coach. I'm talking to the other coach. I'm talking to Tom Rocco. And I'm like, yo, they want to call this? They're like, no, we don't want to call it. So we got to run the play.
Fighting them. They're like,
Nah,
we're gonna fight to the last drop.
Them
the
kids.
last second.
Because the problem is this is like, well, I can't tell my kids to play softer because that's how you get hurt. You know, when you half-ass, when you fucking around, that's how 90% of injuries happen. You up here, well, you know what, just fucking around. I'm gonna do this and that, and that's how people get hurt. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you got to play hard. You got to play hard to protect yourself in any sport you're playing. You know what I mean? Even in volleyball, imagine if you go around there fucking around, and you just like, yeah, you know, that's when you roll your ankle. You know what I'm saying? 9 times out of 10, you ain't gonna roll your ankle when you like playing hard, going for the spike, doing all this shit. Yeah, you on all alert, right? So I got to tell my kids to still play hard. Now we're not gonna pass the ball, we're gonna run it. But your kid's trash, and they're getting their shit pushed in. You know what I'm saying? But when I'm
pushing it to the last.
But when I'm supposed to,
shit into the last.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's like, what is this, jail? I'm just push your shit all the way to the prostate.
They don't want to
Like,
stop, so keep
you know
going.
what I mean? So I had no choice to up here like, well, you could have told the kids to take. What are we supposed to do?
No.
They run the ball. I tell you what, like, I literally walk up and I got the kids telling you, we're going through the B gap. And then y'all stack everybody in the B gap, and then my son blow their ass up. So now I got to take my son off running back, and I got to put some other kid in there, and he blowing their ass up. Now it's up here like, y'all could have put some. We only got 17 kids. Who else are we supposed to? We want me to put a jersey on? You want to see what the fuck I do to 13-year-olds? Like, what do you want, right? But with that responsibility, like, I have the right to just run the score up. I had a right to just blow y'all ass out, this and that, while they running the clock. But the responsibility is that it's detrimental to some kids, and I should think about them kids, right? So I wasn't throwing Hail Marys and, you know what I mean, trying to run the score up as fast as possible. I was swapping in other kids, running plays that were pretty obvious so they could stack the box. And that's kind of the responsibility that comes with it, right? Like, if somebody was to break into the house, they broke into the house and they fall down. Well, I could just go ahead, point. There's one dude, he break into the house right now. Boom, he fall down. I could shoot him.
That's unfortunate for him.
I could shoot him.
Down.
I'm probably going to sock him in his shit a couple times to send a message across. But now it's like, all right, do I go ahead and curb stomp this dude, kill him, and do everything else?
I curb stomp. Why? He's already on the ground.
Why do we need to curb stomp him? If he came in here,
the
fell and knocked himself out.
audacity of you to come into my motherfucking house. That's
so
why.
should we kill him?
No, if he not up trying to attack us, no. But curb stomp,
That's what I'm saying.
definitely for the curb stomp.
I don't know if you know this, but if you curb stomp somebody like American History X, you probably gonna kill him.
That's okay. That's okay because he came in here with intentions of I don't know what. Okay, so he getting that curb stomp.
All right, so dude started fight with me. Let's make a different situation.
It.
We out. Dude say some crazy shit to you. He spit. Damn near spit on my wife. I sock him in the shit, knock him out. How far do I go?
That's enough. He already out.
What if I just hit him and he on the ground crying? Is that enough?
Hit him one more time. I might hit him just for trying to almost spit on me.
Now you got to come in and get your curb stomping.
Yeah.
Fuck stomp.
Bitch. That's it. And I'm gone. You know?
So like with a lot of that.
That's enough.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, like, with that responsibility, right? Like, so I have the right to fuck this dude up.
Mm-hmm.
I have the capability to kill this man, but it's my responsibility to withhold this. It's kind of like with the true definition of like in the Bible where they say the meek shall inherit the earth. I always thought that was like fucking ridiculous. It's like, what the meek gonna inherit? Like, because when you think of meek, the translation of meek now is like you harmless. Like, how y'all gonna be around and inherit the earth?
Those are balanced.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But it was a shitty translation over time because translations, words change, you know, this and that. And it really meant that the basically, and for lack of better words, like the dangerous who decide to keep their sword sheathed until necessary shall inherit the earth. So not the dudes who out here, oh, I got all of, I could go and kill whoever I want, so I'm gonna kill whoever I want. And not the people who are just harmless and weak, but the people who can and only use said capability and everything like that. And it's practicing restraint, which is the hardest thing in the world to practice restraint, because we talked about
is the key to life.
Yeah, which is the key to life. I think that and having that responsibility with restraint and all that shit really just comes back to balance, right? It's like if you did drugs, not doing drugs at all. Like if you came, both of your parents was addicts, you knew you had a predisposition to drugs. There's two easy things to do: never do drugs or become a fucking junkie. Those are easy. In that order, really, like doing drugs and becoming a junkie, easy.
It's hard to dabble.
It's hard to dabble. Like if you predisposed to doing drugs and you be like, yeah, I'm gonna just do a little heroin every other Wednesday. That's rough. That's rough. You know what I'm saying? So that's that balance. Not to say that you should have balance doing heroin, just don't fucking do it, right? But you get what I'm saying? Like if you're alcoholic and it's drinking,
got balance.
Yeah,
I can do it.
I got balance. Look at me, only blow a vein every other month. Like, you know what I mean? But if you're alcoholic, you know what I mean, it make it harder. Like they tell alcohol, and I don't really feel as though you kick the habit. Like when you got a habit and you got a vice on you, I don't feel like you kick the habit.
That's my thing, because you know I'm going to speak for myself, like because I used to drink a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
And at one point, I did consider myself an alcoholic. I didn't care much about it, but I did. And then, you know, I was like, well, I don't want to do it no more.
Type of lady.
So I stopped. And then I was like, well, you know what? I don't got to stop. I can just, you know, control when I do it and how often and all that. So for me, and I'm not trying to take anything away from those people who go to AA meetings, who decide not to do it at all and all that stuff. That's cool. And I know it was hard to do that. But my thing is, this is my own personal opinion, is that are you really, truly able? Did you really, truly kick the habit? Or is it something that's still on you? Because it's like me saying, oh, well, I got to stay away from it. I have to stay away from it. Why do you have to stay away from it?
Because you ain't kicked the habit. You just stand.
Yeah.
You just completely being away.
Yeah. You just being abstinence from it, but you're practicing abstinence from it. However,
because that shit got control on you.
Because it still has that control over you.
It's kind of like if you was like in a relationship with somebody, you just love, and it's something like cutting them, like just being with them and being in that toxic shit. That's easy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Giving yourself to whatever your vice is easy.
Right.
The second easiest thing, not to say that it's not easy, is to cut yourself off from that thing completely. Mm-hmm. That's the next step of like, all right, you can withdraw. But to deal with that person on a regular basis and not fall back into that, like, you know what I mean? Like to be around, have access to that person and to choose not to use that access and to overcome it to the point where that person isn't a factor for you. Where it's not like when you see him and just thinking or blah, 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 this and that. That's when you actually have mastered some control and self-restraint. And I think the problem is with that is that people don't understand that life is a fucking struggle and you're supposed to struggle.
Yeah.
Like you're going to struggle with some things, right? Like every day you're going to struggle. Like you don't get stronger without straining your muscles. You don't get faster without running more. You know what I mean? You don't lose weight without deciding to push some plates away.
Yeah.
Like you got to push some plates off your chest and push some plates off the table, right? Like, so you're going to do those things. So it just comes down to that restraint and that balance. And understanding that life is supposed to be hard. People want life to be easy.
It's a school. You go to school to learn. So you have lessons to learn, and some are hard lessons. Some are not so hard, but still difficult. You still have to go through those things in order to grow through those things.
And I think we could like touch on this maybe like on the next podcast. But the thing about it is people wouldn't want things to be too easy. Like what you really want is
because you wouldn't appreciate it, number one.
Yeah, like you want to have what you really want is to have challenging things that you can overcome. That's what you want. You want it to be challenging, but you want to be able to overcome. You don't just want to lose 30 times in a row. Mm-hmm. But you don't want to win 30 times in a row either, because it's like the first time you win, it's like, yeah, and then 30 times in a row, it's like, fuck. But then when you get knocked down, it's like, oh, that's when you got to get that discourse got to learn.
Yep. That goes right into our gun to the head for today.
You
chose B.
I chose B.
Yeah. So B was gun to your head. Would you rather be healthy or unbeatable?
That implies that I'm not healthy if I'm unbeatable?
Yeah. You're always sick. You have a health condition, health issue. but you're still gonna beat it, right?
I'm
But
going
you
to,
just always
I'm gonna
sickly,
beat people?
always anything. It doesn't matter. You're unbeatable in everything.
but I can't beat this fucking sickness.
You're continuously sick. You always battling.
But I always beat it.
Yeah.
But I just spent a whole like I got cancer and then I beat that and then I got
Something else.
something
It's
else
always
and I beat
something.
that and
Always
something else and
something.
beat that.
Always something. Right.
I think
Or addiction. You got an addiction and you beat that and you just it's
yeah,
always
fuck all
something.
that.
Another one coming.
I'd
Another one.
rather be healthy.
Yeah.
No brainer for me. I'd rather be healthy because my thing about it is like I feel as though I would be able to beat most things. You know what I'm saying? And having this idea that I can beat anything that comes up is just like not when I gotta continuously deal with this shit all the time. Like I don't ever get a break to relax, enjoy life. Like because I think like life is hard and there's going to be challenges and sometimes even malevolent ones, but all the fucking time.
Ain't
My
no
God,
rest for the
I go from
weary.
prostate cancer to brain cancer to the
You
fucking
always
bone
constantly
cancer
fighting.
to, you know what I mean? To I
This
got this and
temptations,
that.
that addiction to
100%. I'm going with 100%.
mentally.
I'm going with healthy because just
Yeah.
there's a such thing as too much strain.
Yeah.
And I think like being able to beat everything, it's like you can beat it, but fuck, after a while, I'm just like, I don't want to
You get
beat it
worn
no more.
out.
Yeah, like even if I can beat it, it's like I don't want to. I don't want to beat it no more.
I think that's a lot of people in life because life is so hard. Life is a school. It's filled with lessons and lessons out of places you never think would come to you. And I think that they just get tired. You know, they just keep because they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. They don't see themselves making it past this situation, and nothing is ever forever here. Nothing is forever.
Well, you look at that light at
just
the end of the
temporary.
tunnel and it's a fucking train.
Right. Yeah. Well,
look at
that's
that
what they
shit.
think they see.
Like
Understand?
it's the light at the end of the tunnel.
No, they think they see.
Yeah.
No, for real. But that's what I say. You know, I would rather be healthy. I don't want to continue to fight all the time. It's exhausting. It's tiring mentally, physically, emotionally. It's draining. It's tough. It's rough. And
because I feel as though
check out.
Like, and then you think about like if that's the adversity that you get was just you just fighting for your health. It's like, how do you even have the strength now to deal with the rest of the shit, right? Like I feel as though that like when we're talking about getting that responsibility and bearing that heavy load so that I can because it's like really my responsibility to make things better, right? Like first I start off making things better for myself, then my family, my community, and then that has a huge effect that we don't really take into account. I can't do that shit if I'm in a hospital bed every Saturday. Like and you can't even enjoy the fruits of your labor as much. So and I think it's a time to fight and it's a time to enjoy the, you know what I mean, the fruits of your victories and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm 100% on the healthy tip.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree with that. So anyway, thank you guys for sitting with us in Uncle Legend's Corner. We appreciate your support as always. If you guys have an idea for a topic you want us to discuss or you want to be on the show, hit us up at Uncle Legend. Ask Uncle Legend at gmail.com.
Peace.
Stick around for after this show. Looking at that watch, looking at my Rollie, it's about that time.
I was thinking about time for a 6-year-old to have his ass sleep.
No, I was just at 9:11. So anyway, hold down.
Oh. Yo, so it's overtime. I got to update what the overtime is because somebody want to get y'all something. Because y'all know it's overtime with puppies. So Fox is going to grab a puppy. Remember, you can't do phone to Baby Rocky. Cal, sure. Cal clean. Damn. Fat ass. Smell like puppy. Like all these damn lights. Yeah. OG Pupperton out here.
Look at this
Puppy
little
McPupperton.
cutie patootie.
We call this one Cal.
He's Cal. He's
We don't
white
give him
milk.
real names yet. Yeah.
We have one with brown spots. We call him chocolate milk.
Yeah, she call that with chocolate milk. Call
He's
this
a
one.
You
Call
know,
this one
when I
Cal.
was younger, I used to think that the chocolate milk come from the brown and white cows.
Yeah, that's about as dumb as that shit I thought about TVs.
Look, for real. I swear to God. And I thought that for a very long time. I think I was probably going into high school when I realized that no, it's all one milk. Look at him. Isn't he so cute? This is a boy. We don't have a name.
Boy.
His name is just Cal.
Just Cal, white and black. Cal.
Just call him Cal.
We ain't
And
giving
he's
him a real
so
name.
cute. Yes, he is.
Because when we
That's
sell
a-
them, y'all gonna fucking
y'all gonna
name them
whatever
something
y'all
else
wanna
anyway.
name 'em.
Yeah, just
He's a
starting to get
cutie.
most of that green off of them from the birth, all the cow colored ones.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, look at him.
I'm
You
tired of
love
this shit.
him. Him is so cute.
Yeah,
He would look good with your babies. Say
Growing
hi,
up.
Cal.
People like, man, it's cold as hell.
It's cold,
in here.
if you right up on the
Goddamn
fan, he'll
fan
be shaking
blowing
like a
this and
junkie
that.
in a
Hold me,
holding cell.
woman. What'd you say? Shaking like a junkie in a holding cell. Like,
Uh-huh.
he hungry. About to start eating your hand.
Yeah.
Gotta mix up some puppy milk for
So
him.
this y'all baby.
We weaning them off.
Mhm.
We weaning them off now, so they'll be getting just regular chunky. But yeah, this
Last
is Cal.
podcast we showed the fattest gray one, the first and the last. We showed the alpha and the omega.
Oh,
That's
supposed
what we
to take
showed last podcast. A gray fatty, and then a fawn colored fatty. One's a boy, one's a girl, and today this is Cal. It was 10 puppies total, so we have 7 more to go.
Anything you want to say?
Well, right now we have how many?
Yep.
We have dibs on some of them already. So
Yep.
those people
Yep.
wanting their babies once we're able to release them, but we're not able
Yep.
to release them right now. We gotta make sure they get good, thick, and healthy for you guys.
What is this?
Healthy. Anyway, do you have any other announcement you want to make, babe?
Nah. This is a fire ass puppy though. Cal. Look at that spot over there. Bam. I'm out here. Puppy. I'm almost
And they
4
so
weeks.
mild mannered.
I'm
Some of them
almost
sometimes when we hear them in there growling and acting all crazy to each other and fighting.
Puppy wars is a real thing.
Puppy wars, right? It's 10
Puppy
of them
wars
in
is a
there.
real
So
thing.
imagine.
Imagine you and
Imagine.
9 of your siblings
Yeah.
in the same 4 foot by 4 foot fucking box.
Yeah. And what color is his eyes? Look gray or blue? It look gray, right?
I don't know.
His eyes look gray. It look like he have 2 different color eyes.
Maybe that happens.
Oh, that's so cute. Oh,
Puppy.
like one blue and one gray.
Puppy.
Anyway, y'all, what you guys
Puppy.
got in the chat? Yeah, well, that healthy. Yeah. So yeah, Jamarcus, I see a gun to your head. Absolutely healthy.
Guess who's healthy? Puppies. Puppy.
I love his tail.
Anything you
All
want to
right,
say?
guys. Nope. Nothing else. We have 10 puppies to make sure they eat. So we leaving. And we'll catch you guys on the next podcast Wednesday, circa 8:30. Have a good one.
Good job. Good job, Fox.
Bing, bing, bam.